You thought you knew everything about the people closest to you, trusted them with your heart, your life, your future. But then, one seemingly ordinary day, a long-buried secret surfaces, a secret that rewrites your past and leaves you questioning every memory, every relationship. This is the story of a man who gave 22 years of his life to a marriage he thought was built on trust, only to find out that his wife had betrayed him with the one person he never suspected, his own brother. And while most would crumble under the weight of such a revelation, he chose a different path: revenge. Picture this: you're sitting at the dinner table with your family, the same table where countless birthdays were celebrated, stories were shared, and laughter echoed. You look around, seeing familiar faces, your wife of 22 years and your brother, someone you've trusted your whole life. These are the people you love, the people you would do anything for. But then, in a moment you never saw coming, your world shifts. A careless comment, a slip of the tongue, or a found letter. Suddenly, the walls you built around your life start crumbling. You realize that for 17 long years, the life you thought you were living was a lie. Your wife, the person you vowed to spend forever with, and your brother, your lifelong companion, were hiding a betrayal so deep, it breaks the very core of your being. For 22 years, their marriage seemed solid, built on love, trust, and shared dreams. They had their ups and downs like any couple, but nothing that ever hinted at something darker beneath the surface. They built a home together, raised a family, and shared countless memories. He believed in their bond, in her loyalty, and in their future. His brother was more than family, he was a best friend. They grew up together, shared childhood adventures, and stood by each other through thick and thin. His brother was someone he admired, someone he leaned on in tough times. Their relationship was one of trust, built over a lifetime of shared experiences. But 17 years ago, an affair began hidden, buried deep beneath layers of lies. It happened when life seemed normal, during family gatherings, holidays, and everyday moments. While he was living in blissful ignorance, they were sharing a secret that would haunt him later. For 17 years, they carried on, pretending everything was fine, weaving the betrayal into the fabric of their lives. And then, one day, the truth surfaced. Maybe it was a forgotten message, a careless slip, or a long-kept secret finally coming to light. However it happened, it shattered everything. The wife he adored and the brother he trusted had betrayed him, and it had been happening right under his nose for nearly 2 decades. How do you process that kind of devastation? How do you come back from a betrayal so deep that it feels like you've lost your entire past? The truth came out in the most unexpected way through a seemingly innocent family gathering. Everyone was relaxed, sharing stories and reminiscing about old times. Laughter filled the room, and for a moment, everything felt normal. Then, a comment was made, a subtle remark that, on the surface, seemed harmless, but something about it didn't sit right. He brushed it off at first, but the words kept echoing in his mind. Days later, curiosity turned into suspicion. He started noticing things he'd overlooked for years: small gestures, lingering looks, and awkward silences between his wife and brother. Determined to shake off his growing paranoia, he decided to dig a little deeper, hoping to prove himself wrong. But what he found was far worse than anything he imagined. In an old box tucked away in the attic, he stumbled upon a collection of letters, hidden, forgotten, but damning. They weren't just letters, they were confessions of an affair, filled with secrets, emotions, and moments they thought they'd hidden forever. Each word cut deeper than the last, unraveling the life he thought he knew. Confrontation was inevitable. When he laid the letters on the table, their silence confirmed everything. No more lies, no more denials. After 17 years of deception, the truth was finally out, and with it, his world was torn apart. The moment the truth was laid bare, time seemed to freeze. His heart pounded in his chest, every beat echoing the weight of betrayal. At first, there was nothing but shock and numb disbelief that made everything around him feel surreal. He couldn't speak, couldn't move. His mind raced, trying to piece together how he had missed the signs for 17 long years. Then, the numbness gave way to blistering, all-consuming rage. His hands trembled, his voice shook as he demanded answers. How could they? How dare they? The people he loved most had not only betrayed him, but lied to his face for nearly 2 decades. Every shared moment, every laugh, every embrace now felt like a cruel joke. The betrayal wasn't just a fracture, it was a complete collapse. His relationship with his wife, once built on love and trust, now felt like a hollow shell. Every conversation was strained, every glance filled with resentment. The intimacy they once shared was gone. replaced by an overwhelming sense of betrayal and distance. He couldn't look at her without seeing the lies, without hearing the echoes of her deceit. She tried to apologize, to explain, but words felt meaningless. How do you repair something broken for 17 years? Every attempt at reconciliation was met with a wall of distrust. Even the smallest gestures a touch, as Millie felt like salt in the wound. He couldn't forgive her. Not yet. Maybe not ever. The love they once shared had been tainted, leaving only anger and sorrow in its place. At first, he tried to handle the pain privately, hoping to find a way forward without dragging others into the mess. But the more he thought about the betrayal, the deeper his anger grew. It wasn't just the affair itself, it was the years of deceit, the lies told to his face, the stolen moments he would never get back. The weight of their betrayal crushed him, and soon, the pain demanded an outlet. That's when the idea of revenge took root. Why should they walk away with their lives intact, while he was left in ruins? Why should their lies stay hidden, protected by his silence? If they had destroyed his world, he would make sure theirs came crashing down too. The first step was the confrontation. He didn't yell or scream, was past that. Instead, he laid the evidence on the table, the letters, the messages, the timeline that exposed their years of deceit. His wife and brother Saturday in stunned silence, their faces pale, their excuses faltering under the weight of undeniable proof. He watched them squirm, but it didn't give them the satisfaction of a reaction. His silence was louder than any words, and it crushed them.